In 1948, McDonald's sold 15-cent hamburgers from a single restaurant in San Bernardino, California. By the end of 2025, there were 45,356 McDonald's restaurants around the world. But this empire was not built because McDonald's made the best burger. It was built because two brothers designed a restaurant that could behave like a machine, and Ray Kroc discovered how to copy that machine without losing control of it. That idea would change not only McDonald's, but the way the world eats. The story begins in 1940 when Richard and Maurice McDonald opened McDonald's BBQ. It was a successful California drive-in with car hops, customers eating in their vehicles, and a menu of about 25 items. From the outside, there was no obvious reason to change it, but the brothers saw waste everywhere. Too many menu items, too many dishes, too much time lost walking across the kitchen. Cars crowded the parking lot while customers waited. The restaurant was making money, but it depended on a slow, complicated system. So in 1948, Dick and Mac did something that looked almost reckless. They closed the restaurant for 3 months and rebuilt the entire operation around speed. The menu was cut to only 9 items. Car hops disappeared, customers ordered at a window. Paper wrappers and disposable cups replaced traditional dishes. Inside the kitchen, every employee performed one specialized task. One person grilled the meat, another added the condiments, another prepared the milkshakes. Even the hamburgers were standardized. The same ingredients, assembled in the same order every time. They called it a speedy service system. At first, it looked like a disaster. Old customers wanted the car hops back. Former employees reportedly mocked the new setup. Profits dropped, and the brothers' radical experiment seemed to be failing. Then families discovered it. The food was fast, it was cheap, and it was predictable. A hamburger cost 15 cents, and customers did not have to wait through the rituals of a traditional restaurant. By 1951, according to accounts of the company's early history, profits were roughly 40% higher than before the conversion. That was the first great McDonald's paradox. By offering less, the restaurant could serve more. A smaller menu meant fewer ingredients to store, fewer decisions for workers, and less variation from one order to the next. The brothers had removed much of what people associated with a traditional restaurant and created something far easier to reproduce. The brothers had not simply improved a restaurant, they had created a production system. That distinction mattered because a good restaurant depends on talented people. The system can be taught, measured, and repeated. The product was not just the hamburger, the product was the method. But Dick and Mac had a limit. They wanted financial independence, not a global empire. They experimented with franchising, yet they never built the organization needed to make hundreds of distant restaurants operate with the same discipline. Then, in 1954, a 52-year-old milkshake machine salesman named Ray Kroc arrived in San Bernardino. Kroc had spent decades selling paper cups and multi-mixer machines. He had seen restaurants all over the country, but this one was different. One small location was producing enough milkshakes to justify an unusual amount of equipment, while customers moved through the line with astonishing speed. The McDonald brothers saw one highly profitable restaurant. Kroc saw the same restaurant multiplied across America. Kroc was not a young prodigy discovering his first opportunity. He was 52, had spent most of his working life on the road, and understood how difficult it was to make one successful restaurant work somewhere else. That was exactly why McDonald's fascinated him. On April 15, 1955, his Des Plaines restaurant opened almost 2,000 miles from San Bernardino and made $366.12 on its first day. The number was modest. The proof was enormous. The system could travel. In 1955, he opened a McDonald's in Des Plaines, Illinois, through McDonald's System, Inc. But Kroc understood that expansion alone was not enough. A chain could grow quickly and still destroy its own reputation. If one franchise served a different burger, used the wrong portions, or allowed the restaurant to become dirty, the name above every other location became weaker. So McDonald's turned consistency into an obsession obsession. Franchisees did not simply buy a sign and improvise. They entered an operating system built around standards, training, suppliers, equipment, portions, speed, service, and cleanliness. In 1961, the company even opened Hamburger University to teach the system. The promise was simple. Wherever you saw the golden arches, you knew roughly what would happen next. The building might be in Illinois, Tokyo, London, or Buenos Aires. The experience still felt familiar, and familiarity is incredibly powerful. Customers were not only buying food, they were buying certainty. But consistency did not mean that every useful idea had to come from headquarters. Some of McDonald's most famous products came from franchisees. The Filet-O-Fish was created by Cincinnati operator Lou Groen and reached the national menu in 1965. The Big Mac, developed by Pittsburgh area operator Jim Delegati, followed nationally in 1968. McDonald's had found a powerful balance. Local operators could discover what customers wanted, while the larger system could test a successful idea and spread it across thousands of restaurants. But McDonald's still needed a financial engine capable of supporting rapid expansion. In the 1950s, Kroc's organization, working with finance executive Harry Sonneborn, developed a real estate structure that would become central to the business. The company could secure the land and building for a restaurant, then collect rent and royalties from the franchisee operating it. That model created recurring revenue, helped finance further growth, and gave the corporation a powerful connection to each location. The local operator invested capital and ran the restaurant. McDonald's controlled the brand, the system, and often the property beneath it. It also created a self-reinforcing cycle. Each new franchise placed much of the daily operating responsibility in local hands, while McDonald's collected fees and strengthened its national presence. More restaurants made the brand more familiar. A more familiar brand attracted more customers and potential operators. Those new operators created more locations, which made the brand even harder to escape. Growth was no longer powered by one company opening and managing every restaurant itself. It was powered by a network using the same blueprint. In 1961, Kroc's company acquired the rights to the McDonald Brothers business for $2.7 million. 6 years later, McDonald's began expanding internationally. The machine was no longer attached to one California restaurant. It could travel. Today, the structure is visible at an extraordinary scale. McDonald's reported that approximately 95% of its restaurants were franchised at the end of 2025. In the markets it consolidates financially, the company owned about 56% of the land and 80% of the restaurant buildings. This is why calling McDonald's just a hamburger company misses the real story. Hamburgers brought customers through the door, but repetition built the empire. Dick and Mac created a kitchen that worked like a machine. Ray Kroc created the organization that could reproduce it. Franchising supplied ambitious local operators. Training protected consistency. Real estate added revenue and control. And the Golden Arches turned that entire system into a promise customers could recognize from the highway. McDonald's began with a 15-cent hamburger, but its most valuable invention was never the burger. It was the blueprint.